Well, hello all. Well, can you believe what's been happening around the world, especially here in the U.S., where, well, let's go over to the board. And not only will we talk about it, we'll look at some pictures at the same time. Trump's neo-Nazis. Trump called armed anti-lockdown neo-Nazi good people. This is failed state stuff. Very good people don't arm themselves with M4s, AR-15s, or AK-47s, or any other assault rifles. Public health officials have continued to warn the U.S. testing operations are not yet substantial enough for widespread opening of the U.S. yet. Heavily armed neo-Nazi militia members flooded the Michigan state capitol and attempted to occupy the legislative chambers. Let's take a look. Is anyone still believing that Trump will step down? Is anyone still wondering why FEMA stole all those masks and PPE? You see, we've seen this before here in the U.S., back during the Civil War, over whether slaves would be allowed to continue or not. It was back when slavery was debated whether it would continue or not. The left side took one side. The left side won, by the way. The right side, the South, lost and were no longer able to take slaves. And they were really pissed off. Now they're pissed off because they're told to wear masks and keep 6 feet away from each other so we could keep the virus at bay, or at least slow the spread. But no, the Trump supporters will not have any of that. They aren't going to wear masks, or if they do, it's rare. But it just isn't going to happen, unfortunately. Now, the U.S. says it's ready to lift the lockdown. I say they're crazy. I look at the facts, as you know. Let's look at these facts. Let's look at the U.S. right here. Now, as you see on the bottom right-hand side, the graph does not show that we're anywhere near time to open up. Now let's look at the UK, another right-wing leadership, and you can see that they're actually trending up. Now let's look at Brazil. Now you see they're also going up. All 3 of these right-wing leaders are saying that we need to forget the crackdown and just let it roll over everybody. What a horrible disease to let roll over everybody. We don't even know if it ever ends. It may have a little bit of a seed factor and come back later on after you think you've already had it and you have the antibody. There's no proof of this, people. There's no proof that there is any sort of herd immunity with this disease. Nor is there any proof that this disease has any problem with summer, winter, fall, or spring. It survives in all of these areas. So why is the Orange Man so determined to spread this disease around? Now there's more and more questioning of whether this was an engineered disease or not. More and more scientists are saying it isn't, but the questioning of how they got that information is really suspicious. There's no actual science to back that claim up. So wonder if we find out that it was human-made. What then? Who do we blame for making it? Who has the labs that would be able to make such a disease? Huh? So while all that is happening, there's a new study out that says that the humans are running out of time to fix the planet. We keep seeing these studies come up and up and up. Well, this is another one. Running out of time quickly. This study says the planet is facing a severe decline just about everywhere with everything. Technical advances will not help us in this situation. It's just too big. The worst hit areas are marine and coastal ecosystems. They are in steep decline. They also said that the environment is in much worse trouble than was previously thought. One of the biggest problems is the loss of habitat. The planet has lost 20,000 square kilometers, or 7,722 square miles of land that's been paved over or built on. That's a lot of land that's been taken away from the ecosystem. We can't take any more away, but yet a lot of the people in the Orange administration here in the U.S. says, go ahead, take our public lands, turn them into oil fields and other mining operations. People don't go out in public lands anymore. That's so last year. But yet there's still more dumbness in the Orange administration. The U.S. is facing a famine if the U.S. doesn't get their shit together. The Department of Agriculture is saying millions of pounds of fruits and vegetables is going to waste. Millions of pounds of milk is being poured out on the ground because the Orange administration isn't coordinating where the food is needed. Apparently the problem has to do with restaurant supply versus store supply. About a third of the U.S. was eating all their meals at restaurants. So a third of all the produce and supplies was going to restaurants. Then suddenly that stopped. So the food stopped coming in, and they did, instead of bringing it to the grocery stores where it should have been brought, they just dumped it in the fields. So we're severely coming on shortages. Not only that, but food is getting very pricey. Just in 1 week, our food bill went from $200 a week to $327. Unbelievable. Where are people going to get all this extra money to pay for the food, the rent, and everything else they have to pay for? And there's no stimulus checks coming in anymore, only to the wealthy. The new study here in the U.S. is saying that food workers are in severe shortage, especially the ones that work in the fields. The Orange Man just isn't going to let enough people come in to work the fields. And the people here in the U.S. aren't about to go out in the fields and harvest for $50 a day. Many critics are saying that the Department of Agriculture's plan is lame at best, and that the U.S. is going to have some serious food shortages if we don't do something about it now. You know what's really amazing is even Dr. Fauci here in the U.S. is saying that if you reopen the states too early, you're just risking to have to do the whole thing over again and to have another 26,000 people dead, all on the Orange Man. But he still has supporters. His popularity can be anywhere from 33 to 40%. How is that possible that even one person can't get what the Orange Man's all about? And it's not about them whatsoever. But the world's going into a different place. Don't even think this thing's even close to being over. Over.